Nemt Citadel is a medieval fortress located in the northeastern part of Romania, near Târgu Neamț, Neamț County. It was built in 14th century Moldavia during Petru I of Moldavia's reign and expanded in the 15th century. The fortress played a significant role in Stephen III of Moldavia's defense system, along with Suceava, Soroca, Tiina, Orhei, Hotan, Chilia, and Cetatea Alba. He understood best the need of building fortified buildings to defend the Principality of Moldavia from the attacks of the Turks, Tatars, Hungarians or Poles. The legendary prince built the first fortified monasteries, religious sites like Agapia Monastery, in Moldova and strengthened the existing fortresses. Stephen III didn't consider that the Neamț fortress is sufficiently strong to withstand the attacks of his enemies. So, he ordered the walls of the fortress to be raised by about 6 to 7 meters and the construction of narrow skylights and windows, through which the defenders of the fort could watch and strike the enemies. To prevent the enemy soldiers from getting closer to the walls, Stephen the Great ordered the digging of a defense ditch much deeper and broader than the previous one on the north and northeast sides of the fort. The only access way to the fortress was by an arched bridge with a fixed part and movable part, supported on 11 stone pillars. The movable part was on the portion of the bridge between the last pillar and the wall of the bastion and could be raised in case of distress, by a system of pulleys. If the enemy would manage to get past the bridge, there were 2 traps, known as mousetraps. Not long after Stephen III strengthened Neamț Citadel, it went through the trial of war being besieged by Mahome II. Mahome II besieged Neamț fortress for 8 days using 7 Turkish great bombards to bomb the walls. Even with their legendary firepower, the Turks couldn't manage to bring down the walls of the fortress. Fire returned by the artillery from inside the fortress was too much of a hassle, so, after losing 2 bombards and his artillery commander, Mahome had to abandon the siege. After the end of Stephen the Great, no significant improvement was brought to the citadel. For many years, the fortress had been abandoned until the Prince Vasile Lupu repaired it in the 17th century. In wartime, Prince Vasile used it as a place of refuge for his family and assets. But in the 17th century, the Polish incursions in Moldavia increased as well, and it led to numerous conflicts between Moldavians and Poles, and Turks and Poles, which came to an end at the beginning of the 18th century. Once the Poles stood out of the region, the Austrians started their incursions, and because the Austrian expeditionary forces kept taking cover in the fortified monasteries and citadels, the Ottomans demanded Prince Mihai Racovita in 1718 to demolish Mira Monastery and Neamț Citadel. After the prince ordered its destruction, the fortress lost its political and military importance and entered a state of decay emphasized in the years to come by the ignorance of Fanario rulers and Târgu Neamț dwellers taking stones to build houses and cellars. Lack of reliable information on the origins of Neamț fortress had resulted in several hypotheses whose reliability was often questioned. A number of historians and philologists, as A. D. Xenopol, B. P. Hasdeu, D. Anchel consider that, according to the papal bull of 1232, the Teutonic Knights of Barca had built between 1211 to 1225 on the eastern slope of the Carpathians a castrum Muntissimum which was later identified as the citadel. The Germanic, Teutonic or Saxon hypothesis was acquired by many of Romanian historians and sustained by both. The site's onomastic, Neamț, which in Slavonic and Romanian languages means German, and by the fortification style, typical to Imperial German military architecture of Hohenstaufen period XII 14 centuries. The German knights, the Saxons, have been appointed to fortify the Carpathian passes against the frequent barbarian incursions into Transylvania. The Saxons have been settled in Transylvania, Siebenbürgen 7 castles, since then, 150 years before the founding of later principalities of Wallachia and Bogdania or Moldova. Archaeological research of the citadel has not revealed any evidence of a fortification before the reign of Prince Peter II, 1375–1391, and oldest coins discovered on the site are from the same reign. The name might be related with the name of the district and later county of Nemt, where later Saxon colonists settled in the nearby town of Baya, known then as Moldau. Since 2015, Nemt Citadel has been restored and included as a historical monument of Nemt County. The fortress, located in the northeastern part of Romania, sits on the Timus Rock of the Plesu Peak, also called the Fortress Hill, at an altitude of 480 meters.